Welcome to Between the Lines with Chris Curran. I'm your host, and tonight we speak with Malden High School and Roger Williams University alum, former coach of UMass Boston, Framingham State University, A's Baseball Center in Woburn, Mass, and founder of SBC Fit, Scott Blumsack. How's it going, man?
Hey, Chris.
Dude,
It's going great. I really appreciate you having me on today.
awesome. Awesome having you on. I mean, we've known each other for the longest time. You know, it's not day-to-day interactions, but I remember one of my first summer baseball experiences with you during the Gately A's.
Yeah, that was a fun time. And man, I can remember you just crushing the ball and stealing so many bases, going first to third, second to home, just like bam, like that. It was a pleasure to watch always. And you're a heck of a guy too, so that
Thank
always
you.
made it even better,
Now,
of course.
this is kind of off script. This was just for my knowledge. So for Roger Williams, tell me if I'm wrong. I hope I'm not, but you are on the all-time batting records and sluggage percentage leaderboard. I'm not even sure if you.
Yeah, the last time I checked, I was up there in the top 10 for batting average and yeah, definitely slugging percentage too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that and I was like, that makes a lot of sense because you always knew a lot about baseball. I know you more so from the coaching perspective, essentially.
Right.
So just having you in that first year when I was transitioning out of my first year of college baseball to then come play for you was such a great experience because of not only your baseball history, but your baseball coaching knowledge. It just made everything kind of a seamless transition over the summer. So that was awesome.
Well, it was awesome on both sides. So like I said, it was a great little moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just grateful for that because if it wasn't for my little journey in baseball over the years, I wouldn't have wound up where I am right now. And there's just so many cool experiences with so many awesome players over the years and other coaches that I coached with and a couple of the coaches that I had. And, it's always been something that's been kind of special to me.
Yeah. It's great to see that transition, as for all of us at some point in time, the game either comes to a stop and we start coaching or we stop coaching, but there's still such a fitness and nutritional aspect to it. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey in fitness and nutrition?
Yeah, definitely. Post pandemic, and by the way, back up a little bit, we actually lost our baseball training business during the pandemic. But a lot of business owners saw some hard times during that period of time, and we did too. But the pandemic was a time for me to figure out my next steps, and also I finally had an opportunity to kind of dig into my own health and try to turn some things around because I had been really overweight for a long time and feeling really sick and tired and just miserable all the time and not really like myself. And I sort of waded into the waters of fitness and nutrition and realized the power of it as it started actually working for me. And I wound up losing 100 pounds and then getting into fitness and becoming a fitness fanatic over the course of a few years. And mind you, Chris, it definitely wasn't a quick transition. It took me a while, even years, to kind of figure out exactly what I wanted to do. But this developing love of fitness and nutrition kind of sparked the idea for me within the past a year. And I'm just working really hard to try to, dust off the coaching hat and get back into the game. Although now a whole different game. The way I look at it, the game of life, which to me has way more stakes, and I get to help
Yeah.
a lot more people a lot more types of folks with something that can help them to live a full and happy life. And so I'm kind of want to give back some of the knowledge that I've gained and have built over the last few years in these domains. And so here we are, we're doing it. I started the business, and I've been slowly building my client list, and it's been nothing short of amazing, and also quite challenging too.
Yeah. That's such a big transition too, from especially going from baseball, which is what it's second nature to many of us. It definitely seems like the next thing that you would do, whether it's coaching, training, having a facility after you play. But to be able to kind of tap into fitness, it's a big aspect of it all, not even just in baseball, in other sports, but as you kind of pointed out, just in life in general. And I think you can put that into perspective when it even means yourself. That's a big thing to go through that transition. Um, and it definitely it can take some time. It really can.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why it can be, I like to say, really simple, but not easy. And one of the reasons is because it does take time. It takes commitment and dedication, and it takes patience. And you might not see results right away, and that can deter a lot of people and disappoint them. And then they stop, or uh, things just become so difficult in their mind that they don't stick with the plan. And so that's something that I really tried hard to do, is just be consistent, stick to the plan, day after day, just kind of lean into the process and just trusting that the results will come. And they did. And it was quite a thing, really amazing. So it sort of made the transition really natural. Kind of feel like if you're gonna do this kind of work, it is much more relatable to people if you have gone through something and then you also are your own client zero.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's important. I think that's relatable. And so far, it's been a huge help with me and my clients being able to tackle some issues together that I have like really intimate experience with.
Yeah. Were there certain things that you had to tap into when you were going through the journey yourself? Because it's tough to go through that journey and say that you need to change, right? Most people, they think they're a finished product. You're kind of the last person you tend to look at that needs change. It's a big move to kind of acknowledge that you need change. But let me ask this. You go through those
Yes.
tough moments with those changes. Did you have to like tap into like a baseball mentality? Were there certain things that you told yourself to make it through those tougher times where maybe you wanted to quit, or maybe you didn't want to wake up and work out or eat right that day?
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. So, one of the things that for me was a huge realization was that motivation can cut both ways. And so what I decided was that there was no way that I was going to rely on motivation, because there are so many days, even now, where I am completely motivated to stay in bed, to not face the day, to definitely not go to the gym, and to just eat everything in sight,
Yeah, oh
right?
yeah.
So um I was relying on my motivation for those days, I'd be in a lot of trouble. So early on, I kind of made that sort of recognition. And that's kind of the thing that I hung my hat on, is that, you know what, no matter how I feel, I am going to drag myself to the gym. I'm going to do what I have to do there. And I am going to do the really, really hard work. And I'm going to pay attention and be really intentional about what I do in the grocery store and the kitchen too.
Yeah.
And if I can put both of those sides of the coin, put them together and just try to be consistent, and not try to hit a grand slam every time. And here's where I
Yeah.
go back to the baseball, but um but I'm just looking to get the bat on the ball, hit it hard, put it in play, and just try to do that over and over again, just little bits at a time. And that turned into something really wonderful for me. It sort of unlocked this trust in myself and this dedication and these other things that are just to me like a level up for motivation, that are the things that really drive you to, some kind of success in whatever it is you're doing. And for me, that was getting myself healthy,
Hmm.
learning how to help others do the same. So it's again, like I always say, simple but not easy. And
Yeah.
so, trying to figure out something that was over and above motivation, um, that was huge. And I had some help along the way too. I've got family and I've got kids, and looking at them is and wanting to be around for them is something that's really important to me. And that definitely helps to build that dedication and consistency. And even took some mindset classes, which I felt like were really wonderful, and learned from some people that can help you to be mindful in the moment, try to release yourself from the anxieties of like life constantly coming at you,
Hmm.
because it's the way you look at it, the perspective. It's really is how you can change these daily things that keep coming at you into opportunities. And I just kept pushing forward with all that. And then to go back to your earlier point, through my long-winded answer here about you know what came up for me in terms of how it can tie back to the old me and the old life of baseball and athletics is my work in the gym that I'm doing for myself and my health and my body kind of stoked this like little thing in me that really believes that I want to train. I enjoy training, and maybe I was even born to train. And if I have a goal for that training, just like back in the day when I had a goal to be a good hitter, or a goal to get better at defense, or to try to have better conditioning or get faster, whatever it might be, win the game, or, coach the team, get these guys ready to play. There was a goal in mind, and that obsessed me and pushed me forward. And I get the same kind of feeling out of the training that I do. And so that's something that definitely ties back to my love of athletics and further like performance and
Yeah.
and training for a goal. Yeah.
That's awesome too. And like you said, you're also doing it with and for the support of your family and your kids, and it's big for me because you're leading from the front. You're also showing them too that it's not always about being perfect or being this finished product, kind of like we talked about earlier, that you can become that through consistency in what you said too is small steps. A lot of people see if I mean, you talked about losing 100 pounds. Unbelievable, man. Great for you. And so many people out there are thinking, how do I lose 100? When sometimes it's, how do I lose a pound a week? How do I just get back into the gym and enjoy the regimen, the routine? How do I enjoy the sweat and just working hard? And that essentially can lead to it as well. But you also talked about being in the kitchen and buying the right foods. And do you have any go-tos? Like the go-to meals that you're really looking at?
Yeah, it's interesting. The way I've kind of evolved with the nutrition piece is that I actually am looking more at the macronutrients, micronutrients that are from the food that I'm consuming. And so, my favorite meal is the one that has exactly the right amount of protein, carbs, and fats and fiber in it so that I can, reach my daily goals. Then it pairs well with my training. And, I might be in a phase where I'm trying to lose a few pounds or trying to shed a little bit of body fat percentage, or maybe I'm trying to gain a little bit of muscle or strength. And so I'm eating a little bit more and opening up my macros. So that's actually the most important thing for me, which, a lot of people can't relate to. And honestly, if I had said this to myself somehow, my previous self, that was 100 pounds heavier, I wouldn't have had a clue what this guy is talking about. I'd be like, what? Like, come on. You love pizza and pasta and subs and beer and let's go. Let's just get it all at once and just chow down.
Yeah.
And so, now it's like lean proteins, Greek yogurt, whole foods, whole carbs. So fruits, veggies, whole grains, no refined flour, all that kind of stuff. Keep the fats where I need to have them in order
Hmm.
to have like healthy hormones in my body, but not enough to do any damage. That kind of thing. Not
Yeah.
enough, no added sugars unless I can help it. And so I kind of think of it from that viewpoint now, which a lot of people think is boring. And I think it helps me to not have to make as many choices and decisions because if you roll through a supermarket, if you're trying to eat like I do, there's limited choices. So
Yeah.
I just lean into that. I enjoy them very much. I don't have to think too much about it. I know I'm going to eat my chicken today. I'm going to have some Greek yogurt today. And, I'm not going to have to really like sit down and be like, what's for dinner tonight? What's for dinner the next night? Um, I'm kind of cool eating things on repeat and kind of use my mental energy and decision making for other things.
Yeah.
So everybody just has their own capacity to, make choices and decisions. And so for me, it's like, no, I just stick to the plan. And if I have to do some foods on repeat, that's cool because I actually love nourishing my body in that way with whole foods and, quality meats and so forth.
Hmm.
And I just lean into that. I love it. And I focus on making choices and decisions and in all the other areas and just, take that off the table and save a little capacity, a little bandwidth for the rest of the
Yeah.
stuff.
No, it's being smart. It's being smart. It's having a solid routine that you can fall back on, rather than making impulsive decisions where it's like, do I want a pizza or do I want to stick to the routine that I know that works and that you actually enjoy, you know? So when it, that's,
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, sometimes I feel like really lucky and grateful that I can have this big smorgasbord of whole foods and food. And also because I know like if I made a couple of different choices with what I put in front of me, then those plates would shrink. I'd have to do much more portion
hmm.
controlling and make it a very tiny amount of food. And so, the way I do it, I can just kind of have this really nice spread and just enjoy myself eating some of the foods that a lot of people kind of find boring, but I tend to think that that's more so because of the way we have this issue in our country of ultra processed, ultra tasty foods that have this unnatural combination of sugars and fats that
Hmm.
and folks working for the companies that everything converges and basically it's designed to get you to be a repeat customer,
Yeah.
which essentially means they want to hook you on the food.
Hmm.
And so they're just tweaking your palate so much so that then you eat an apple and it has hardly any taste. But for me, at this point, it's like an explosion of flavor. I love that kind of stuff. And so it's become really easy and natural for me. But that didn't come easy. One little step at a time. I can remember the day that I put like a healthy plate together. I even took a picture of it, Chris, because I was so proud of it. And still in my phone, I look at it every now and again. And then I tell my kids like, there was one day that I just decided I was going to do 10 push-ups. I thought my arms are going to fall off. I was going to die. It was like, oh my God,
Hmm.
what happened to you? And I started with 10 and, now, working out training 5 days a week, sometimes six, and
Yeah.
only four or three if life is lifing. But to go from 10 push-ups to where I am now, again, took a couple of years and a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication, and it's just really was like baby steps, which I really believe in because those are the ways that's the way that this stuff becomes sustainable and doesn't shock the system in any one area. It can be like you mentioned earlier, 1 pound a week, which actually is fantastic. Any more than that, if you're like somewhere around that 1 pound a week range, you're going to have a much easier time doing it. If you go beyond that, it's very aggressive and you can really feel restricted, and you can easily get to the point where you're like, I'm done with this. This is way
Yeah.
too hard. I can't do it. And the next thing you know, you're right back where you were. And then you feel bad about it and you try again and you get into this like vicious cycle. So
Yeah. Yeah.
baby step, man.
Enjoying
That's the way.
enjoying the process of anything that's kind of transformational in your life, something that you're not used to doing, feeling a little bit uncomfortable doing. It's learning to enjoy the process. It really is. And it's not just the waking up early, the working out, the eating right. It's all of them. Right? Because if you mix them all together, they'll all work hand in hand. A lot of people think too, like, well, if I just go to the gym and run, I'm going to be fine, and then I can eat three pizzas when I get home. You know? You can undo some of the work too.
Oh, there's no doubt. That's just another little piece of advice. And we've been hearing it going around the internet and stuff, but it's actually true that you really cannot out exercise a bad diet.
Yeah.
You could try, but unless you're running marathons on like a daily basis, that huge cardio session you just did could get completely wiped out when you eat like a half a sandwich. So
Yeah.
it's yeah, you got to do just a little bit more than that if you want to break through. You don't need to really do anything that makes you feel like you're not gonna make it. Um, it's not easy. It can be hard. There can be challenging moments, but it's all about finding what works for you, and just trying to be smart about it and just showing up for yourself every day. And not every day is going to be perfect. It's not for me either. Sometimes I do perfect, and other times I do terrible, and mostly it lands somewhere in between. And I usually tell my clients if they can somehow manage to just go like, 80 to 90% of the time, they're doing what they intend to do and following the plan, then they have a little bit of wiggle room to enjoy life and have a little, snack or a little
Yeah.
bit of decadence, or just a family event or a social occasion, and then just be able to get back on track the next day and trust yourself to do so.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it worked for me. And I sort of try to pass on this knowledge to my clients, and really to anybody, friends, family, anyone who's interested, and whoever talks to me about it. I just love helping folks. So, that's kind of what I've been up to. That's what I'm all about. And I'm enjoying it, and I'm going to try to keep it up, and try to see if I can help even more people as I go.
Yeah. And that's one thing I noticed too. Anytime I really had to try a little bit harder to get in shape, whether it's, you're coming off a season, you're going to give yourself a month or two to kind of chill out, do nothing before you start working out, throwing, hitting, whatever it is. Um, Getting back in shape, waking up early again, eating healthy. I also know, like, with that portion, it can be tough. It can be hard, but through that process and staying consistent, people don't realize too that you also become tougher and harder. You, they can't just look at it from the sense of like, I need to lose 50 pounds. It's going to be impossible. It's like you also become a different person during that process too, that you can't give yourself credit for yet until you start. So it is going to be difficult, but once you get going, you can build that momentum. I think
Yeah.
it's big for people to try to take some of that in and understand it as well.
Absolutely, Chris. As someone who is now on the other side, I can definitely confirm to anyone who's thinking about jumping into this journey, um, that is that sentiment is 100% true. Um, I can't stress enough how important it is to try to get out of the comfort zone. The comfort zone is where all your hopes and dreams are probably going to, go right down the drain. So, but you've got to push yourself out of that comfort zone. And if you do, and you go on this journey, and you have these successes in it that you want to have, you are you're earning something that nobody can take away from you.
Hmm.
And I think that that's part of what are describing in that toughness and that grit. And, now, you will know that you can do the work. You can do anything as long as you put your mind to it and you just stick with it.
Hmm.
You have that capacity. And once you build that, no matter where you go, that is something that is yours and yours alone, and you can feel great about it. And I want to see more people have that feeling and feel that way about themselves. So
Yeah,
I think you're dead on with that.
no,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Now, with your coaching experience, I know we've kind of talked about this in the past. Like when you're a baseball coach, you tend to have certain like philosophies and approaches to practices and games, trying to get ready for the games, for the playoffs, for the championship, and so on. Do you have similar philosophies when it comes to fitness, or what are some of the philosophies that you do have?
Yeah, there's no doubt that there are similarities, and some of my philosophies, or just the way that I try to approach coaching in general. I'm always going to try to be like a partner and a guide, instead of some kind of an authority figure. And I'm always going to teach the whys. I'm not just going to give you, a list of things that you've got to do because I say you've got to do them
Hmm.
and you're just going to do them, um, because I'm the coach and I'm the one who's running the show. No, I'm going to talk about what I think we should do. And we're going to all have a voice in this. And I'm going to, make sure that you understand why we're going to do this, why I think that this is what's going to benefit you. And if it's something that you feel really strongly that you can't do or don't want to do, we'll have that conversation. But, and because there's always multiple ways to get things done
Yeah.
too. And so one of the things, in addition to trying to just be, a coach that explained the what's and the whys and the where's and the when's and give all the information, everything that I knew was going to get passed on to my players, so they could go to work and work hard and trust that they had the information and that they processed it and that they're able to put it together and bring it out to the field. And so now, um, with my clients, it's similar, but then, also taking into account the fact that I also believe that there really doesn't have to be a lot of hype or a lot of nonsense. There can just be transparency, and we can be to the point, and we can get to work too, and we're going to work hard as well. But one of the things that I've had to sort of think about, because I'm not working with athletes, performance minded folk who are young in their, 20s, early 20s at that. Now I'm working with more of a general population. People are in their 30s or in their 50s. I've had some in their 20s. I've had some in the 60s too, but mostly it's in that middle part. And these are folks who are wading in for the first time, or they had done some kind of something in exercise and fitness previously, and it's been a while and they want to get back into it. And so, one of the things is that we have to be really mindful of keeping it sustainable, but also nudging them to, test things out when it's safe, push themselves a little bit when it's safe. I try to guide them along the way, but we don't want to chase them out of the gym. We want to make sure that they feel comfortable in the fitness space. And so, we try to build systems that keep them safe, keep it fun, make it sustainable. But we wrap that all up in this partnership, a relationship. We're going to get to know each other. It's going to be fun. And if we can stick to the plan, we're going to achieve goals, and we're going to have wins, and those are going to be beautiful things. So,
That's
um,
awesome.
yeah, I just I just really, my philosophy is there, just kind of end with, just trying to do all that I can to help and to help you or anyone else reach the goals that you want to reach.
That's awesome because they're already going to go through so many challenges in that transformation. I mean, one of the toughest parts that they've already began is by just calling you or showing up. That's number one too, because most people don't. They'll say they want help, but they won't be there, and they won't be there consistently. So, I love the idea of how you open up that space for them to give their feedback and to find common ground with that transformational process, whether it's weight loss, muscle gain, eating correctly. Maybe it's a combination of all of them. But I love the fact that you include all of that because I feel like that would be such a better way to retain people and relationships as you're working on these transformations.
Absolutely. Something I'm very passionate about there is the way that SBC Fit is positioned in a little bit of a different area than a lot of the corporate gyms and a lot of the membership based gyms that you'll see. Um, During my own personal journey in fitness, I've had countless conversations with folks. And one of the things that I get a very strong feeling about is that there are a lot of people out there that are sitting on the edge of their seat, Chris, and they want to get started. They know they need to get started, but they have no idea how. They don't feel comfortable walking into the gym, and they need some kind of a way to just safely have that step one that you mentioned, because that first step is everything. So, one of the things that I've done with SBC Fit is create a very small, very private premium gym that is a safe space, your fitness sanctuary, if you will. And those folks that are feeling like, you know what, there's no way I can show up to a Planet Fitness or a Lifetime Fitness and walk in that door and have all of these people looking at me.
Hmm.
Whether or not that's true is a whole different thing. It's all about what's in the mind of the
Yeah,
person who wants to start this thing. And so one of our missions is to make sure that we can provide something that's totally different that can make those folks feel really good about taking that first step, the hardest step.
that's awesome. Because in that sense too, it's so true that whether everyone's staring at you or you think everyone's staring at you, both things are true at that point in time. Because your mindset of everyone staring at me, I don't want to be here. I shouldn't have wore these pants. Well, what am I doing here? What was I thinking? That's running through a lot of people's minds as they start that journey. So to have your own specialized facility at SBC Fit, that's amazing because once people make up their minds and then they step in that place and feel comfortable, they're in. They really are. So
Thank you for that, Chris. And
yeah.
I appreciate that sentiment. It's been a lot of hard work, but I feel really passionate about that piece.
Well, I think about it now too because yeah, like you said, there's younger kids, there are kids in their early 20s, maybe you're training some, maybe you're not. But as I think about it as I'm nearing my 40s, I also think of what kind of gym would I go to? Type of thing as well. Do I want to be in that gym where you walk through and there's, 50, 60, 70 people, staring at you, you know, or do you want a place that's more specialized and someone that you can actually sit and work with and have a common goal? That's no, that's a big thing, especially as you hit your 30s and 40s, you may not want to be in front of everyone else.
Yeah, there's no doubt. You're just gonna feel really uncomfortable at our ages. And I'm older than you, my man. But the last thing I want to do is stroll through one of those gyms where, like everyone got their shirt off and it's,
Yeah.
we're flexing in front of the mirror and we're all concerned with how much weight we're putting up and that kind of
Yeah.
thing. It's that doesn't feel comfortable for me. To be honest with you, it it never did. Um, so for me, I completely agree. I'd rather have a place that is a little bit more low key, is a place that I can feel comfortable in, and but yet, is a place that is still built for, some serious
Hmm.
work. And I want to make sure that for me, I've got all the equipment that I need. But
Yeah.
I'm not concerned with how much weight is on the ends of the bar.
Yeah.
That's not my thing. I'm really just more concerned with how I feel and making sure that I'm getting stronger. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of my clients appreciate is that we're not chasing any kinds of like PRs on the daily. We're not doing any exercise gonna compromise our health, once you hit a certain age, maybe you want to start thinking about, should I continue deadlifting? My back feels a little,
Yeah.
not so great. Should I be doing the squats? Should I be going that deep? Should I be really loading the bar up big time? Or, maybe I could just adjust and, do something a little different, hop in the leg press, do something a little safer. So I think those kinds of things are important. I've been through all of that. And so it's just another way that I can help my clients that are in that, kind of a mindset of longevity rather than, putting on size or doing a bro split or any of the stuff that we may have done or they may have done when they were in their 20s or early
Yeah.
30s. There's a transition there. And that's something that I can also help folks with, and I think they really appreciate that. We don't have to work like that. We can work smarter. We don't have to necessarily work harder. So, a safe space where that can happen without having the eyes of a big gym upon you has been a big deal. It's been a game changer for a lot of the people that I've been working with.
And we talk about like the smaller specialized gyms and big gyms because as you've like built clientele, how do you balance the increased workload and family time?
Great question, Chris. To be honest, it's really pretty simple. I spent a few years post pandemic trying to figure out my next move, and I worked for some corporations, and I did the 9 to 5, and I canceled vacations with the family and missed events and had to jump into stuff on weekends. And so I was really grateful to be able to transition out of that and into my own business again, because that just allows me to make sure that I can show up for them because I don't overbook myself anymore. I know what my capacity is and I don't go beyond that. I don't feel the need to have like a desk in my bedroom with a computer like I used to back in the days that I could just keep
Oh,
working all night
yeah.
long. That was a real thing. But there's no way that's happening anymore. When I hit the bedroom, I'm going to sleep. I'm going to try to sleep as much as I can. And, cause I need that, but, um, so I think it's, a whole different ball game now.
Yeah,
So.
that's awesome. So for you, you said earlier that you've lost 100 pounds in this journey. Like, what's one piece of advice that you'd give someone looking to start the process that maybe they look at themselves and they're thinking 25, 50, 100 pounds, whatever it is? What's one thing with your experience that you would give that person?
I would say the biggest piece of advice that I could give is don't wait until tomorrow. If you keep telling yourself that I'm going to get started tomorrow, you'll find that tomorrow will never come. So don't start tomorrow. Start right now. Make a choice right now to drink a glass of water instead of a soda. Go to sleep an hour earlier. Um, put down the the bag of chips and go grab that banana that's sitting over there before it gets all brown and you don't even want to eat it.
Yep.
There's so many different ways. Get down on the ground and do one push-up. There's so many different things and ways that you could really start right now. And I think that's the biggest piece of advice, is to just to get moving. Just do it. Rip the Band-Aid off nice and quick, and don't wait until tomorrow.
100%. You couldn't be more right about that. So many people like, I'll start in October. New Year's, that's only a couple months away. I'll start then.
Right.
It's very common. It gives me a couple months to come up with a plan. I gotta buy workout clothes. You will find every reason to not do it and delay it. And that's kind of your brain also telling you, oh, now it's you versus your brain, because your brain's going to talk you out of it. That's the road you're going down. So go against it right now. Start doing a little bit of something, and then tomorrow build off of it.
Absolutely right. Try your hardest to not negotiate with your excuses, and to just start, and to know that it is 100% totally okay to just start where you are. Start where you are with what you have. That's all you need. You don't need all the fancy equipment and all the straps and the bells and whistles. You don't need to outfit your whole house with thousands and thousands of dollars worth of equipment. Start where you are.
Yeah.
And you can build from there.
And that's for everything in life too. It really is. It is working out. It's anything. I've told you about this, and we've talked that when I announced my podcast, I didn't have a microphone, headphones. I didn't even have a Gmail account. I had to create that for it because I knew, I was like, all right, if I announce it, it's on. Like, now the timeline starts. Even if one person saw this, it's a way to hold myself accountable and get uncomfortable. And then, of course, 5 minutes after I mentioned it, I get my first message. Dude, you're starting up a podcast? That's all? I'm like, oh, no, I really have to do it. So it was just the smallest way of holding myself accountable. And now we're sitting here talking.
Amazing story. You're absolutely right. These kinds of principles just cut across all of life. I love the fact that you just put yourself over that line. You jumped out of that comfort zone and you did it.
Yeah.
To a T. You started where you were with what you had, and you didn't negotiate with your excuses and push it off till tomorrow or next week or next month when you were going to start. And now you have something that is really cool and really special. And I know that it's just going to flourish and you're going to build upon it. And, it's really an inspirational thing to see. Because in my mind, entrepreneurship is just as hard as anything you could ever do. And a lot of respect to that. So
Thank you.
It's amazing, Chris. Keep going. You've got me rooting for you over here.
Well, it's the same thing with you too. Hearing about your journey and how you stayed persistent through a couple years to not only lose the weight that you knew you wanted to lose, but to become the person that you knew that you needed to be for your family. It's great for you, but it's also very unselfish for them, because what you do by getting in shape and eating healthy is you're not only teaching great habits, but you're leading by example, and you're showing people that I'm going to be around a little bit longer. That's my intent, is that I'm going to be healthy and I'm going to be here for you guys for maybe longer than, I would have 3 years ago.
Huge motivator for me. I'm 48 years old, and at this point, that's it. I want to be around here for my family. I want to see my kids continue to grow, and I also don't want to be a burden at any point, or at least stave that off for as long as I can.
Yeah.
So, if I'm graced with the opportunity to, to be here for a long time, beyond where I'm at now and into the future. I had a grandmother that passed away at 105.
Wow.
I don't have any reason to believe that I'm gonna, match or surpass her. But we live in a world that is really hard. It's hard these days to maintain health, and I just think that for me, I want to do all that I can. I at least don't want to take away from my chances of
Yeah.
getting to, you know, at least some kind of an age where maybe I can see this whole mess that we're in sort of turn around. And
Hmm.
um, you know the world out there is kind of an interesting place right now. So I'm just doing what I can for that. Huge motivator for me. And you got to kind of, at some point you have to realize what's important in
Yeah.
life. So hopefully I've had that. I think I've had that realization, and it's definitely not perfect. It's still a journey and a process and a learning experience. But trying to be a good dad, trying to be a good family man, trying my best to run a good business, and to you know be a good coach to my clients, and to really anyone who's interested in leveling up in their health in any kind of a way. So, that's all I want to do. That's all I want to see, and so I'm just working every day to try to continue.
Yeah. And you're the founder of SBC Fit. Like, when you had started that, did you have a particular mission that you were trying to get through to people?
Yeah, absolutely. The main point and the mission of SBC Fit was to create a safe space where people could feel comfortable um, leveling up their health and or their nutrition, either by the virtue of the space itself or by the virtue of the type of training and coaching that we're going to offer to our clients. So that was really the main piece. And, since then we've kind of, incorporated some other ideas, and still want to continue to grow into some different areas so that we can sort of scale our ability to get that mission out there, to more people and help more people that way.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's perfect. And you talked about your family, um, kind of motivating you and being a group of people that you look back on as you went through your journey, and now what you're doing as the founder, the space that you've created for other people. Is there a message that you would want to maybe tell your family that, maybe you do or maybe you don't as much as you would like to?
Oh yeah, no doubt. My wife and my two kids, and my my father, my mother, my sister, my brother, my extended family, and certainly all my friends. I love you all. My wife and my kids and my dog Tony, they're all here in my house right now. Everything that I do is for you. And I just want you to know that, and how much all of this means to me. And it's all here, and I owe it all to you. And the most important thing is our relationship, and I love you all. Let's just keep growing together with each other. And that's what I'm interested in, is every single day spending as much time as I can with you. So
That's
that's the
beautiful.
message, Chris. I hope they hear it, and know that it's from the bottom of my heart.
I love it, man. That's the good stuff. That's where it's at. And well, people track your journey. Where can people find you if they want to follow you or sign up for the journey? Are you doing anything, whether it's just in person? Are you doing anything online? Where can people reach you and follow your story and what you're doing?
I appreciate that, Chris. And yes, folks can find me trying to keep things contained right now, not push myself into too many different avenues. But right now, you can find me on Instagram at Scott B Coach, and you can also find me or reach out to me through my website, SBC Fit website, which is www.thesbcfit.com, THESBCFIT. Drop me a line, DM me. I'll shoot you my text, my number. You can text me, you can call me. I'm very accessible. And yeah, it would be nice to hear from you. So we can talk about, leveling up in all the ways we can in fitness, health, and nutrition, and beyond. I think it's all important.
I love how you do that. I love how it's not just about um it's not just about working out and eating right. It's about that building of a relationship. I think when you do that, it becomes part of people's psyche, and it's a feel good thing too. Like that's the beauty of it when I take a look at it. I remember some of my biggest moments in the gym around baseball, and you don't remember how many sets or how much you always lifted. It's the people that you're doing it with and the culture and the atmosphere that you're in. And it sounds like that's what SBC Fit is. And knowing you and the person you are, what you bring to the table. And for those that may not know you the way I do, hearing your story and your transformation is just, it's a really telltale of what you're willing to go through yourself before you would ever ask anyone else to do it. It's amazing.
Well, thank you for that, Chris. I think what you're doing is nothing short of amazing too. So, I feel like really touched and grateful just to be here and just to be talking to you, because I know that you wouldn't, your time is really valuable, and you're doing this new podcast and you're killing it. And
Thank you.
yeah, man, I think that that's great. I appreciate your compliments too. You know, uh, Again, I think this is the third time I've said it, but a lot of folks have come up to me and said, "Hey, Scott, um, how do you do it? What's going on? You look younger than you did the last time I saw you." And it's my response that it's all relatively simple. There's no rocket science to it. The only thing is that it's pretty hard, and so I believe truly that you can choose your hard, and you can choose some hard stuff now to make things easier later, or you can choose easy stuff now and it probably is going to get a little harder later. I just have my way of doing it. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are also like-minded uh, in that sentiment. And I think that there are some other people who know that deep down that is the way, and they want to hop on the bandwagon. And I just hope they do. I hope they can make that decision to start right now. Don't wait till tomorrow. Just take that step one. And if you like anything that I've said or want to learn more about me or SBC Fit, I'm here for y'all. Just reach out.
That's amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Blumsack. Thank you for your time, man. I appreciate you. It's always great catching up with you.
Chris, there's no doubt. Happy to see your face. And it's been my pleasure. To all of your fans and your people, thank you for allowing me, onto your screen today. And Chris, thank you. It's been amazing. All the thanks and gratitude in the world.